Hey y'all, good morning. This is your man Sabir Alim. Join me right now live on my Sabir Alim educational station on YouTube for Daddy's Right Here Live. Yes, on and popping. Today is that day, and I hope you didn't miss my first stand-up routine last night at 9 p.m. Just stand up. If you did, you can still see that today and today only on my Sierra Leone YouTube educational station. It's time to turn that thing up. Let's get it popping. Today's topic, relationship ruined. Join me. See you in a few minutes. It's on. Peace. Hey y'all, good morning. Welcome to Daddy's Right Here Live. I'm your host, as always, Sabir Alim. It has been a long weekend between yesterday and today. It's been a lot of work. Last night was my first ever stand-up routine. I'm proud of myself. I think I did a really good job. I didn't waste a whole lot of time stuttering, thinking about things to say. Listen, it was natural for me to do this show last night, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope those of you who watched last night enjoyed it. Today will be the only day, the last day, you will be able to enjoy that stand-up routine. Yeah, it's going into the archives. It's another one of the aspects of myself that I am continuing to, expose, disclose, evolve, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, man. And, I always just try to keep myself busy. I always try to do new and innovative things. I always try to bring more of my talents out. And that's a really big problem in our society today, that so many people are hindering themselves and blaming things outside of themselves as the reason why they're doing nothing with their life. Y'all know me, I stay busy. I stay busy. I was always big behind the scenes, in my earlier years, being involved with local entertainment, doing the DJ thing, being in the booth, and then I got in front of the camera. I got a microphone. I start getting comfortable, man. Yeah, I start getting comfortable, right? So I'm good. This is my element when I do these kind of things. This is my element when I get in front of the camera. So it wasn't the kind of stand up that many were expecting, but after watching it, you would say, yeah, well, I expect that from Sabir. Yeah, yeah. Because comedy, man, is like life. It is. It really is. It's like, to some, it's a drama, right? It's always stuff going on, and to others, it's comedic. But at the end of the day, it's a combination of both. But if you allow the dramatic aspect of it, to overwhelm and overshadow the comedic aspects of it, you begin to gravitate more towards the dramatic aspect of it. And that's the way you'll see life forever. Forever. It won't change. It'll be just like that. And there are people, man, today who you're in relationship with. Yeah. That's how they see life. And it's nothing you can do to change that. There's nothing you can do to change that. And this has to be clearly understood. Where a person is where a person wants to be. Period. That's where they want to be. You ever walk down the street and you look at two people together you don't necessarily know that they're a couple, not but they're together, right? They can be just dating. They can be, in a long-term serious relationship. But when you you look at the woman, you be like, man, she fine as hell, man. What's she doing with that nut, right? Because you've already sized him up. Men do that, and women do it too. We say, well, what is he? Because he ain't holding her hand. He's walking ahead of her, right? He's like in his own world. He's on his phone, texting and stuff like that, and she's walking like a queen. And he's showing her no regard whatsoever. And the first thing for me, I don't know about you, but the first thing in my mind is, why are you with this dude? You deserve better. You deserve better. If it was me, I'd be holding your hand, stopping in the middle of the street, kissing, hugging you, all of those things. Right? That's what runs through my mind. As a man. That's what runs through my mind. And I know it runs through some of your minds. Right? But newsflash. That's what she wants. That's who she wants. That's who she chose. You ain't the dude for her. You're not. You're not, man. I see so many sisters out there. So many sisters investing into themselves, making themselves look good, dressing nice, getting the nails done, getting the makeup, keeping the hair done, keeping the game tight. But then they with this dude who got his pants hanging off his ass, who's driving slumped in the car, who you can obviously see is not taking care of self just by his appearance, just by his overall attitude. You can see that, but she's good with it. She's good with it. She don't want you, Mr. Wash your body and lotion up and put good smelling stuff on and dress nice and go back and forth to work and carry yourself in a respectable manner. She don't want you. No. Believe what I tell you. Believe what I tell you. I've done this for you already. I've done all the research for you. Since the age of 24, I will be 59 in 2 months. 3 months. Yeah. 4 marriages. I have looked through that same lens for so long, believing that I can make your life better. I can give you what no other man has given you. And it's true of a statement as that is. It don't matter if that's not what she wants or what he wants. It don't matter. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow. Right? Because when you spend your life, man, trying to be a loving and caring, good person, a responsible acting person, a responsible speaking person. When you live your life to be that way, and you want to find that person who you can share that with, and you think that you meet a person who is deserving of that, and you open yourself up to them, and you give all of that to them, in your mind, you believe that you are giving them something that they need. And even though you are giving them something that they need, they're still in the want stage. And as long as a person is in this is what I want stage, they can't see through the lens of this is what I need. Because that's what relationships are really about. I need somebody who is responsible in their actions, in their attitudes, in their behaviors, in their thoughts. I need someone who is responsible. I need someone, so if I get hurt and I lose my ability to work for a period of time, you can be able to carry us in some capacity. In some capacity. Willfully. Not with an attitude. Willfully. I need somebody who, when all of the strength that I have exerted in my workday, I need someone who I can come home to, who will hold me, rub my feet, rub my head, rub my back, give me kisses, hold my hand, tell me it's going to be okay. Some days I need that. But on all days, I need that affection. I need that love. I need you to hold me. I need you to show me that love, because that's why I'm with you. I'm not with you for you to help me pay my bills. It's part of the obligation in the committed relationship. I don't need you to wash my clothes. I don't need those things. I am totally domesticated. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I need. But there's so many folks, right, who need that, who are still in want stage. Yeah. They want that apple bottom booty, right? They want them bazooka breasts. They want that Glamour magazine girl, that hunk magazine male, right? Image, materialism. Not realizing that most of the stuff that you see in books is sprayed anyway. Yeah, it's sprayed anyway. But it doesn't matter, because that's what I want to have. Why? Because that's where all the hand claps and applause and jeers and all that stuff come into play. Because that's what I want. I want people to look at me and say, yo, damn, boy, dude, that's what, oh man, yo, bro. I don't mean no disrespect, but no, but you are being disrespectful, dude. Keep it in your mind, right? Be respectful with your optics, right? You don't need to tell me my woman is fine. You don't need to tell somebody that their man looks good. You don't need to do that. You do that out of pure arrogance. Pure arrogance, you do that, right? But there's a stark difference between what a person wants and what a person needs. And when you're in a relationship with somebody and that is not clear, it is only assumed. It's a setup every time. It's a setup every time. But then once you get stuck, getting out is always the difficulty. It's always the difficulty. It's easy to get in that thing. But getting out is always the difficulty, because once you're in, then your decisions are made based on, okay, we together now. This is what we share financially. This is what we built together. You start looking at all these things, and then you find yourself stuck, because now it's out of obligation. It's not out of need for self. It's not based on that. It's not based on that. Therefore, the relationship already begins to decompensate, already begins to break down from the door. Right after sex is when it usually happens. Because that's what you're ultimately chasing. Because you have sought after this image. I don't care how big she is. I don't care how thin she is. If she's a good woman, everything else that comes along with that will be good. You make it good because it's good for you. But if your focus is not on making your relationship better and better and better each day, better than yesterday, making it great today, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. You're running on bad stuff, man. and you bring a negative energy into that situation which you're involved in, but you're blaming the other person for your negative energy because your own spirit is out of alignment. Because your own spirit is out of alignment. So here you are in this poor spirited relationship going nowhere. And it's going nowhere fast. You're just moving in slow motion because it ain't as important as you have professed it to be to your partner. It just ain't that important. So all you're doing is living day to day with this person who you have now made your lifeline and found all kind of ways to justify why we're still together. Oh, well, you know, he's a good father. Well, he's a good provider. How about he's a good damn man? And here are the reasons why. How about this is a great woman? This is my queen. And here are the reasons why. How about that? How about that? Right? But then some people can even run down a list of why you're so great of a person for them, to them, and still turn around and do the exact same thing that they have done in every other relationship and drag this one down to its grave as well. Because they're not changing. They're not changing. They're just moving on with their lives. They're moving forward. That's all they're doing. It's like a running back in football. Running backs learn no matter what, keep those feet moving at all times. Even when you get hit backwards, keep those feet moving. Even when you hit the ground and you feel yourself going down, keep those feet moving. That's what people are doing. They're keeping their feet moving, right? They're keeping their feet moving. But I'm going to move on. I ain't got time for that. I'm going to move on. I ain't got time for that. Why don't you have time for it? What is it you don't have time for? What is it you don't have time for it? And why don't you have time for it? I can tell you things that I don't have time for, and I can tell you why. I'm a career person. I'm a talented person, a multi-talented person. I'm always expressing my talents. I don't have time for negative spirit, unspirited, negative energy. I don't have time for that. Why? Because it interrupts all of this. It interrupts all of this. It was this that kept me afloat for the past 3 years and years prior to that. But the past 3 years for me, this, what I'm doing right now, has kept me alive, has kept me growing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail about anything, but I'm simply telling you, the last 3 years since I relocated have been difficult for a variety of reasons. But it was this, doing Daddy's Right Here Live, doing SciSpot, doing The Wise View, doing the films, Why Are You My Ex 2, working on the fatherhood, A Word from the Wise, the Boyhood Chronicles, working on the film Code Black, right? The sequel to the book, right? So those things keep me alive. Those things saved my life. Because had I not had those things, right? I couldn't tell you what my condition spiritually would be right now. So this is a list. This is part of the list of 10 things, right? I have to give you the website. I'll put the link on the description, on the show description when I post it. But 10 things that can ruin a perfectly good relationship and how you can avoid it or stop it from happening. Yeah. Because you're in control of these things. When you make a decision to be with somebody, you can make the same decision to be without that person. Remember that. But when you're talking about marriage, you cannot just up and make those decisions. But when you're in any relationship with the person and you call it a committed relationship, your behavior relationship have to change. Number one on that list of ways that you can ruin a perfectly good relationship and how to avoid it. Number one, acting like you are single. Yeah, big one. And I did a show, single-mindedness versus married-mindedness. Now, I don't know if that one made it to YouTube. This one I did, I think, back in 2016, and it was recorded. How you dress is important. How you dress is important, right? When you're with me, when you go out with your friends and you're not, yeah, what kind of clothing do you wear? Do you switch up when I'm not around and wear things that you know I wouldn't approve of, or you know you wouldn't approve of me wearing anything in that capacity? Like if you don't want me walking around with muscle shirts on, you know, the muscle shirts that have the stringy like straps, and they come all the way down here, and like, you know, the chest is out and some of the abs is out. If you don't want me wearing that kind of gear, why would you be wearing gear like that? Why would you be wearing gear that expose, you know, your breasts or expose your behind or those kind of things? Why would you do it? Why would you do it? Right? When you go out, how do you conduct yourself? When you're out with the girls, when you're out with the boys, how do you conduct yourself? Are you going out with married people or are you hanging out with single people? It does make a difference, folks. Because single people draw a different attention than married people. Yes, married people have women and men approaching them. Yes, they do. But they all conduct themselves in a manner whereas they know they are married. Therefore, a lot of that old kiki stuff that they be doing with others ain't going to be happening. And if it is, then you need to get away from them because they're not committed to their marriage. They're not committed to their relationship. And forgive me, excuse me, if I use the term marriage and committed relationship interchangeably because they both require commitment. So the behavior is still the same. There are just other obligations in marriage that come into play. So, but you know, they act differently, man. They look out for each other. They don't be sitting there eyeballing stuff. And I notice a lot of couples out there that, you know, they all right with your partner eyeballing other women and other men and all that kind of stuff like that. You know, they're all right with that. But that's something that has to be agreed. It's not something that you do when we're not around each other. See? It's not. Because once you even entertain the thought of having a conversation with someone because you're attracted to them and they're not your partner, they're not your husband, they're not your wife, it's already a wrap because you're not committed. You're not. When you are committed to somebody, you know it. You know it because you always think of them when you're not with them. You always are reminded within your own self. I have a good man at home. I got a good woman at home. I'm not for what? I don't need to be checking him out, checking her out for what? And that's your job in that relationship to bring that to the table. Because once you make room for anything else, you interrupt that other person's spirit because you leave them in a position of having to vacillate between how much they love you and how much they want to be with you, and then somebody else who's talking some real good Gucci stuff to them, even if it's just saying, hey, good morning, how are you? Right? You making room for that person's spirit to be unstable, and they may never venture out, but their spirit is interrupted. Their spirit is interrupted because you put them in the position. And I ain't know they allowed me. You put them in the position. What happens after that in terms of how I react to the position you put me in is all on me. But you often put people in positions, forcing them to venture off, even in their mind. So if that's what you want to do, you need to say that. And you need to stop blindsiding your partner, and just say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm not ready for a commitment. I'm not. You can't just up and just leave when you feel like it. You can't just up and just walk out of it. I don't care whether you're married or if you're in a committed relationship. Commitment is the key. Committed is the key here. Commit is the root word here. What does commit mean? Commit don't mean only me and you having sex together. That's not commitment. No, that's not commitment. That's not commitment. Single people can do that. They can come and go as they damn well please. Committed people can't. Committed people can't. They do it, but they can't. You can't just do that, man. You don't have the right to do that to anyone. Right? Again, if you can't commit, move on. Just say it. Just say it. If you want to continue to live your life that way, if you want to continue to make decisions independent of your partner, move on. Don't drag that person's life down. Don't delay their living because you want to be selfish and you want to do what you want to do in all aspects of living. You got a partner. It's like being in a rowboat. You in the front, the other person's in the back. They stop rowing. They stop rowing. How long do you think it's going to be before y'all find yourself out in water, right, that you can't escape from? Caught up in one of those rapids and find yourself going over a waterfall or going so far out in water so deep that getting back, you can't get back. Yeah. That's what it's like. And you got to keep going on this side. You got to keep going on that side. But you can do that with a canoe. With a rowboat, I mean, you're going to be wore out. It's hard. It's hard. You got to back it up. You got to turn it around. You got to do this all on your own. And before you know it, you either lost the oar or just gave up. That's what it's like, man. If you're going to be in it, be in it. Be a partner. It's not 50-50. It's 100% from each person. And any percentage of that is shirked, your relationship is not going to be worth anything. And it's just a matter of time before it ends. You want to be single? Say you want to be single and keep it moving. Number 2, only being financially responsible for yourself. And again, we're talking about 10 things that can ruin a perfectly good relationship that you need to avoid. You know, when you make decisions about buying, about saving, financial stability for both of you, it takes a little more work. It takes a little more thought. It takes more planning, right? Which still ties into single-mindedness, because if you're not doing financial planning together as one and you're only planning for yourself, right, then you are still living as a single person. You're still being single, even in that condition, right? I have to save money because, as not just as a man, but as a person, I need to be able to have some go-to funds. If something happens, who do you look towards? If something financially happens, you look towards one another. Well, how are we going to get out of this? How are we going to get out of this? And you ain't saved to die. You ain't made no effort to rectify your financial picture. You can save $5, $10, $20. You're supposed to pay yourself 10% of your gross every pay period. How many of us do that? And the people say, well, how many of us can afford to? How many of us can afford not to? Do you know how many people living on the streets right now, or living with other people right now, because they didn't take the steps to do that, because they told themselves that they can't afford to do something? And now they're in a position where they're forced to have to pay somebody else, or they're forced to have to live dangerously because they're living on the street. You can't afford not to. So if it's not 10%, how about 8%? How about 5%? What are you paying yourself? What are you paying yourself? A person's entire being changes when they're broke. A person's entire being is so off kilter when you look at the fact that I don't have any money. I'm working from paycheck to paycheck, right? I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the money to do that. What do you think that's doing to their spirit? That same spirit that you're bringing into this relationship because of your own condition carries over, trickles down onto the other person. It carries on to the other person because you were dissatisfied with your financial picture. So then the expectation relies heavily upon that other person. Not thinking that person can wind up in the same circumstance too if they don't put away money. But you always want to have this, you always want to have that. You know, give me this, buy that. You always want to have these things. But if utility bills get cut off right now, if your electric got cut off right now, do you have money to go pay that bill? Do you? Today is Sunday. Do you have the money to go to electric company tomorrow morning and pay that bill out of your bank account? That's the first question you need. Do you have the money? Not does he have the money, not does she have the money. Do you have the money right now? That first thing Monday morning, 9 o'clock Monday morning, you will be in that office. You will be online paying that bill right now. Or do you have to go borrow it from somebody? If you can't do that, then you need to ask yourself, why are you with this person? Because that's what you should be able to do on your own, first and foremost. Oh, what you mean? Well, you just got paid Friday. The electric just got cut off Sunday morning. But what do you mean you had the money? You had no money, right? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So we got to wait 2 weeks until we get paid to have electric. So what are we gonna do? Well, no, I'm gonna stay with my mom. I'm gonna stay with my uncle. You got somebody you can stay with? That's your solution? It goes back to that single-minded condition. It's about you. And then the response is, well, we can't both stay there. Right, but why are we in this position? The electric shouldn't have never got cut off. So apparently there was another problem anyway. Right? Before that, the bill wasn't being paid on time. The bill was late. The bill wasn't being paid. So you have to be financially responsible as well. A lot of people, would say that, oh, well, he's not real good with, paying bills and stuff on time and this, that, and the other. I got my stuff on auto pay because I forget. I put it right, just take it out automatically. I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to worry about it. Because you forget things. There's help right there. And you won't take the help because now your justification is, well, I don't trust them electronic, this, and I ain't all that old technology and stuff. And, I don't. So this stuff is always late. And you wonder why your credit rating looks like it does. Now I'm a big fan of the whole credit thing because it's a scam. No matter which way you look at it, it's a scam, man. No matter how hard you work, man. Listen, if you ain't coming for money and got money like that from the door, they ain't giving you nothing. Come on, that's just that credit score is crap. But if you're not looking at life through that lens, right, then you're bringing another person down. You're putting more pressure on that other person to go beyond your. And people don't want to have that discussion in the first couple of dating. People find it offensive, right? I want to know. And, and I'm just, we make the assumptions, somebody got a car, they got a house and whatnot. You make the assumption, okay, all right, okay, got things going on. He popping a little bit, right? You make the assumption, right? But, I lived in the house where the damn house was under bankruptcy and I didn't even know. And I'm in the damn relationship with the person. Imagine that. Right? So, people just don't tell things that they need to tell. And again, that goes back to that single-mindedness again. I don't need to tell you because I'm not committed to you. If I'm committed to you, I'm going to say, hey, this is my struggle. This is my challenge. This is what I'm doing about it. And let me make the decision. But when you're concealing things that the other person needs to know, the other person needs to know. Don't blindside me with stuff, right? And people, we get blindsided with a whole lot of stuff that people need to tell us. And then when they get into a relationship, then they want to tell you why they're in a relationship. And then when you make a decision to cut that ass off because that's something you should have told me before, or change the course of the relationship, now they mad at you because you mad at them because they lied. Or listen, when you don't tell it, it's a lie. It's a lie. I get it. There's some things need to be kept secret. But if your financial management is poor and reckless, you need to have a discussion with your partner as to how you're seeking to resolve that. And when the information and suggestion is given to you as to how to bring resolve to it, you need to do something about it. You need to. Because if you don't, you're dragging me down too. You can't just make financial decisions. You can't just bring financial disastrous conduct into a relationship. If you ain't paying your stuff on time, don't turn around and think that you can just keep that from the other person, because then that other person is obligated because they're committed. They're obligated to help. And it puts a burden upon them. And the only damn thing you can say is, I'm sorry. The hell with sorry. Nobody wants to hear that. That's just you being irresponsible. That's you being irresponsible. It's you being selfish. It's you being single-minded, because that's what single people do. Single people are selfish. And they have the right to be, because it's just about them. They don't have a commitment to somebody. Number 3 on that list, having no other interest. And again, we're talking about 10 things. that could ruin a perfectly good relationship that you want to avoid. When you're in a relationship, right? You're in the relationship as individuals. And as individuals, you should be like doing things for yourself. This is what I do as an individual. My mind is wrapped around film, books, drawing. This is my artwork behind me, if you didn't know. This is my artwork. This is a pen and ink drawing that I had a poster made up of, which is another project that I'm also going to be working on this summer, getting prints made. Another piece over here to my right, which you have seen in a previous show. So like this is my stuff, man, and I keep my stuff around me, right? I keep my stuff up and around me. I love doing this stuff. I just bought my paints from up Philly a few weeks back because I like to do painting. How long y'all gonna be fishing today? Everything you do is catastrophic. Everything you do is in the way because they don't want nothing. They have objectified you. So it's all about you being there for them. Now they'll sit back and watch TV all damn day long, right? All day long. And then want to come and interrupt your time, right? That's what happens when you objectify a person. You make them an object of your affection, right? You become an object of love, right? An object. And whether it's glass or whether it's a human being, once broken, it will never be the same, right? And what happens is people who have no other interest, they want you to be available on demand. They want you to stop what it is that you're doing and be with them. And then someone say, well, you should put time into. No, it's not even about that. If you see that this is my interest, right? This is my interest. This is what I do. Don't always find time to interrupt it, right? And I'm very clear on this. People who have no other interest will always find and make time to interrupt what you're doing because they need to be the center of focus, not what you're doing. Well, you've been on that for 2 hours. You've been watching TV for 5 hours. What difference does it make? Oh, well, I want. Okay. Well, there's a way to handle that. There's a way around those kind of things too, right? You know, sometimes I may be working and you may need to, just stroll past me in the nude or in some nice, wonderful looking negligee or some stilettos. Just walk on by and get my attention and see if I'm ready to take a break. And if in that moment I'm not ready to take a break, I say, hold that thought and finish what I'm doing. And then there are times when I just have to get a more direct approach, right? You can come and just scoot on the lap, just scoot down on the lap while I'm working, But what I'm saying to you is that when the other person has no interest, and a person like me who has all of these interests and who does all of these things, and you're not doing absolutely nothing with your life, just sit around, just watching TV, on the phone, on social media, that's all your life is, then that's not any kind. First of all, it's not any kind of life for somebody to just live that way. You can if you want to, but to be around somebody else who is motivated, who is living life to its fullest, who is involved in a lot of things, that brings them down as well. That brings them down as well, right? Because I have to sit and watch you do nothing with your life, do nothing with yourself. I have to sit and watch that, right? Because you have no hobbies, you do nothing. And you just blame everything on me, and because you need me to be there for you. So everything that I do in my life will always be hindered, will always be shortened, will always be interrupted because you have the demand for my attention because, you don't want me. Well, I don't know why because you don't know why. Excuse me. You don't know why because that's not your makeup. Your makeup is not having interests such as this. Your interest is not digging into yourself and finding those hidden talents. It's not in you. Number 4 on that list of 10 things that people do to ruin perfectly good relationships that they need to stop doing. You need to avoid doing this. Right? Being overly sensitive and insecure. Now, the last show and the show before that, it was a 2-part series I did on abusive relationships, controlling behaviors, right? See, because this ties right back into that. And it also ties into acting like you're single. It ties into that single-mindedness too, because what happens is, and it ties into number 3, right? Because sometimes when you have all of these interests, because you're out and about, you're doing things publicly, you're engaging a lot of people, right? You're greeting people, shaking hands, giving professional hugs, cordial hugs, things like that. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, and you're engaging in dialogue with people, right? And your partner, who has no interest in anything else, who is just going to just go, and they're not going. They say, I'm going to support you, but you're not supporting me when you're sitting there with your face all twisted up and you're just looking at your watch like, well, what time can we go? Like, I'm hungry. Can we go get something to eat? Like, because they have no connection to the heart of you. This is what I do. And you're thinking about, can we go get something to eat? Now I'm hungry. Like, I'll go by myself. Those kind of things, those kind of attitudes and stuff like that happen. This is what I do. Let me do what I'm doing. But people who have no other interest won't let you do what you're doing. And then they sit back and they observe all the interactions you have with others. Oh, you was talking to her for a while. You was all up in dude's grip. Like, you ain't laugh with me that much. I've been with you 5 years. I ain't never seen you laugh that much. Damn, he's that funny. He's like Kevin Hart funny. You laughing and all that. Not looking at yourself. The disinterested one. The do nothing one. The one who has made you, right, their object. Right? The selfish one. The self-centered one. Right? And you got to look at all those things because you don't want nothing. You don't have no interest in nothing. Just want to pop bottles and do nothing. But this is me. This is what I do. Let me live. And then that's when the accusations start coming in. Oh, you going that way? Oh, y'all got a team meeting. Yeah, bet it is a team meeting. Yeah. Well, I called the office. It sounded like y'all was right next to each other. I had that said to me one time, like, wow, y'all really close to each other. We on 2 separate damn desks. I picked up my phone. They hung up their phone. What? I sound like y'all really close. Well, we're in the office together. I mean, what the... Right? But everything that you do, right, is always questioned. Everything that you do is always challenged because they have no interest. And when others have interest in what it is that you're doing, they show the interest. They show the pleasure. They show the joy in what it is that you're doing. Your partner should be doing the same. But single-mindedness, again, because you haven't changed your thinking. You haven't changed your thinking because you haven't committed. Committed people share the joy in their partner's abilities and their talents, their hopes, dreams, aspirations, their endeavors. They share that with them. They enjoy it because they want to see their partner have that kind of joy in their lives. They want to see it. They don't go, oh yeah, that's nice. Mm-hmm. Are we still going to the mall tomorrow? Are you going with me to the family outing? I mean, you got time for all of that, do you? Because that's what the mindset is. That's what the mindset is. That's that insecurity. That's that insecurity. That's why typically career-driven and career-focused people do better with career-driven and career-focused people. Right? They tend to do better in relationships because they're both focused. But when you interject some single-mindedness into that, it'd be just as disastrous as being in a relationship with a single-minded person. It can be just as disastrous. So all of these facets of the human being enter into a relationship. That's why it's so important that like you like really look at, is this what you want to commit to? And commitment is totally delving into that person's existence, into their being. Not losing yourself, but we're partners. We're partners. So when you look at being overly sensitive, you have to look at like everything that is said to you. Oh, I didn't see you talking to her like that. When she said such and such, she made a joke about it and you just laughed it off. Right? I just said good morning. That's being human. To be cordial to others. Good morning. Kept on going. And like I was like, good morning. How you doing? No, good morning. Thank you. But when you're overly sensitive, you analyze, you overanalyze everything that your partner does because you need to compare, right, how they do things with and around you in comparison how they do things outside of you, and they put them all together. And you know, it's like I got to be a certain way around you because I know you're insecure. I know you're overly sensitive about things. So now I gotta tone me down to make you comfortable. Now you're conditioning me to be your puppet. You're conditioning me. I've allowed you to condition, and I've been in this situations like this. Trust me. I've allowed myself to dumb down in situations, you know what I'm saying, just to make you happier. But when I look at what it is that you're asking me to dumb down on, it's like, it's not like I'm doing anything disrespectful. It's not like I'm doing anything you yourself couldn't do, but this is me accommodating your insecurities, not mine. Your discomfort, not mine. And that's making you happy, which ties back into the 2 shows that I did on abusive behavior. That's abusive. It's controlling behavior because you don't want me to be this good, outgoing, cordial, fun-loving, energetic person because you feel uncomfortable when I'm doing that with others because you think that I am and they are. Therefore, we got to have something going on, but it's going on in your own mind. But it ties into if you are not committed to doing everything necessary within your relationship to fill up them holes, right, of your insecurities, you're going to always find yourself in this circumstance. If you think that your man or your woman is attracted to a particular body figure, right? Or you think that it's about sex for them, give them what they need. That's your job. That's your job, to totally fulfill their needs. That's your job in a committed relationship. And if you can't do your job, quit. Walk away. That's your job. And people cringe just now. I know when I said that. That's your job. Stop entering into relationships, committed situations, and demand certain things from that person to appease you when you're not willing to do the same. Stop. That's single-minded thinking. That's I'm not ready for a commitment thinking. Whatever your partner needs, and I'm talking about needs. I'm talking about person to person, spirit to spirit, needs. Not things, not materialism, what that person needs in order for them to be comfortable in that relationship, you need to give it up. You can't worry about your partner going out screwing with somebody else, right? If you're doing your job at home. You can't worry about your husband or your wife looking at somebody else and saying, oh, that haircut look real nice. He looks sharp, right? And you ain't keeping your stuff tight. Your skin all dry and crackly. You got your pants hanging off you, and you looking at the dude who got a nice cut, got his shirt tucked in, right? I mean, it don't have to be tucked in, but I'm just saying he's looking nice and neat. You can see a little glisten to the skin because the skin is being lotioned. I mean, like, look at the back of my elbows, right? Like, you know, I take care of my skin, you know. I'm going to do a commercial, right? In my next stand-up, I'm going to do a commercial, you know, for skin lotion and stuff like that, because most of the things you see for men, right, regarding, you know, skincare and stuff like that are often comedic, right? Are often comedic. But I'm saying all to say that, you know, any woman likes a man who takes care of himself. Pedicures, manicures. I keep my nails clean. I keep shaved. I keep myself, you know, neat. Keep my behind clean. Go to the bathroom. Wash myself. I shouldn't be unbuttoning my pants and going to the bathroom. Going, whoo! What's that? Right? I shouldn't be. I shouldn't have just come from the gym and run into somebody having a conversation and be like, I know you just came from the gym, but where did you go before that? Right? Because there's some people who smell like that, man. Right? So, like, self-care is important. So you should always be looking to keep yourself up for your partner. Keep yourself up. You need to be doing things in the home, right? Negligees. I mean, lingerie, man, is cheap. Get some lingerie just to walk around the house in. Take that damn rag off your head. Sometimes just walk around the house to look good for your partner. Right? You ain't got to come in and always have the wave cap on, the do-rag wrap. You ain't always got to have that on. You ain't always got to walk around that holy nasty ass looking moo-moo. Right? We need to be doing things for each other. Don't be expecting her to do all that stuff and you ain't doing none of that stuff. Men need to do those kind of things too. Get yourself a G-string and just come on downstairs after the shower and come sit down there and watch Family Feud. What's wrong with it? She like that thing, don't she? Let her see it. Excuse me. Number 5 on that list of 10 things that people need to stop doing to ruin their relationships. That wasn't the title, but 10 things people do to ruin relationships that they need to avoid. Number 5, sarcasm, rolling your eyes, not honoring your partner, right? The old chicken neck stuff, right? That stuff, right? The attitude. The attitude. What's the attitude about? Why are you in a relationship with a person who you say you love, but you always got a damn attitude about stuff? You always arguing about stuff. You're always complaining about stuff. You're always negative. Always, no matter how much they do, the only time your ass is happy is when they're doing something that you want. Only time. Other than that, you're always arguing. Always finding something to complain about. Always nag, 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 nag. Always. And every time something is said to you about it, you get more of an attitude and you blame. No, I'm not. And don't even see that. You don't feel this? No, I'm not. I can feel it when I'm doing it. You don't feel that? That's not a natural movement. There's nothing natural about that. It takes work. No, I'm not. Look at all that work. Look at all that work. And look at all the work it takes for you to. Look at all the work involved, and you don't feel that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You just don't want to do anything about it. You don't want to do anything about it. No matter how many different ways you've been told, no matter by how many different partners you've been told that, you don't want to let it go. Because you believe it's justifiable for you to continue to act that way, just in case. And anybody who's in a relationship with a just in case mentality is not ready for commitment. It's not ready for commitment. There's a reservation there. That if he does this or if she does that, I'm out. And we know that come on, stop being little. We know there's some damn things that you do that you're just out anyway. Right? Be out. Be out. But don't sit there and act like you ain't out. That you want to be in, but you keep going back to the other stuff. Period. If you truly think that I did something to violate that trust, if you have evidence to support that, get out. If you strongly believe it, get out. Just say the word, get out. But don't drag me down. Don't beat me over the head with it. You're either in or you're out. It's one or the other. You can't be both at the same time. Either you're committed or you're not. You can't do them both at the same time. You can't submit if you want to be in control. You can't do them both at the same time. You can't. You can't. And what often happens is people who are insecure, people who are controlling, people who are jealous will always, no matter how small the thing, they will always magnify it and turn it into something far greater than what it is. And most of the time without evidence, they will make it bigger because they need to do that. Because they want leverage and what they can continue to get away with in a relationship. And that's how they gain leverage. And oftentimes what happens is the guilt that we may feel about a particular thing, valid or invalid. Because listen, I told you about my enabling behavior and my being codependent. I will take ownership for somebody else's thinking just so you will stay with me, just so you won't leave. Because I love you. I want this to work. I need for this to work. I need for us to work together on this. The days is over, man. You're either in or you're out. One or the other. Right? But all the old chickenette stuff, all the attitude, save that. Save that. Take that somewhere else. Because that is nothing but a recipe for disaster and opening a door, a segue for domestic violence. Listen to what I'm telling you. If you are not going to commit to that person totally, get the hell out of their life. Period. I've done this too long, man. I've been in marriages way too long with all the evidence right there. But because I've been committed to making it work, doing everything possible, even though I've lost myself in all of these marriages, trying to do things to appease the circumstance, to yield, to accommodate, I always have ended up empty handed. Believe what I tell you, folks. If a person is not showing a full commitment to you, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. It is. So listen, don't forget, today and today only, I'm cutting that thing off like Becky at the bank, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's a wrap. Well, before 9. When I leave out of here to go to work in the morning, it's a wrap. It's off. It's done. It's over. You will not be able to see. Just stand up. My first stand-up routine. Go ahead to my Sabir Ali educational station on YouTube and check it out. It's there for you to see. That plus 100 and something other videos. Plus, you can also go there and see my film, Words from the Wise, the Fatherhood Chronicles. Yeah. Because its sequel will be coming up soon. Words from the Wise, the Boyhood Chronicles. In this other, the first film, you see the perspectives from the fathers, right? The sequel is going to be from the perspective of boys, of little boys. Yeah. Heavy piece, fully animated. Yeah. And that's what I do, y'all. So go there, check those things out. Y'all have a great day. I'm going to go have me some breakfast. I drank a cup of coffee this morning. I need to go ahead and get this breakfast thing going. I got to touch up the 3 rims that I did anodized last week. And I got to do the 4th one because it wore my back out, all the lifting and pulling and tugging. So I got one rim on it that ain't done. So I'm going to finish up these and then I'm going to go ahead and knock out these other ones. Y'all have a great day, man. Peace.